And we're back. Sorry about that. We had to pee. Nice little bushes. And I found the place. It's not a perfect place, but it's part of the past. I guess that's what we're aiming for. Right? Thought that felt good. I felt really good. Okay, let's go. So basically, again, we're gonna go in the grass. So again, look at this shit. I'm still gonna get something kind of cool, but not super nice. You'll forgive me, right? Thickening the whole railroad. Part of a past, part of something greater. This is what we're gonna get. I feel like it would be better if we went more in. Before you worry, there's no snakes. Don't worry about it. Right? So long story short, like the government came in and said, hey, we'll take care of your kids, we'll teach them. And once again, people were like, okay, well, the government takes care of me. Why did they take care of my children? Right? And in both cases, it was an authoritative system. Or a system of a hierarchy. People of the church were chosen. People of the government were chosen. Some elected, some not elected. A lot of people don't give a fuck about politics. So they're not really elected. But long story short, you had those people in power. And they're like, okay, well, we'll teach your kids what we want. Now, of course, I was lucky enough to learn the very basic. To learn the very... There wasn't a lot of complicated course. There wasn't social media when I'm so lucky for that. There wasn't social media when I grew up. That's not true. There was Facebook. When Facebook came in, I was 16. I didn't have one before 18. It was still acceptable not to have a YouTube. Not a YouTube, sorry. It was still acceptable not to have this. You know what's crazy? People are gonna see this. Me filming here. Nobody's gonna give a shit. That's again the thing of society. Understanding that I barely know my neighbors. When I grew up thinking my neighbors were the best people, I had really good neighbors when I grew up, so can't complain there. But my current neighbor, I don't know them. Try to know them. Perceive that's weird. Why do you want to know me? We're neighbors, dude. I can't complain. There's worse. There's a lot worse, and there's a lot better, but there's a lot worse. See? You see people around, and you're like, holy shit. But then you're around yourself. And what makes you better than others? The answer? Nothing. And I'm gonna do this. There you go. That is insane. That is perfect. And then go back to the school system. I feel like this is good. I feel like this is perfect though. Yeah, so let's go back to the school system. I feel like this is a pretty good place, right? Go back to the school system. The school system again, became the government. And in both cases, you were conditioned to accept that what's being told is being told. I was talking about how I'm lucky not to have Facebook because, yes, I had some bullying in high school. But it wasn't that bad because when I went home, it ends. If you look at the bullying on social media right now, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, it's horrible. It is horrible. And it makes me sad because you should be able to be a kid, right? And that's fucked up. That is really fucked up. I'm the kind of guy, right? When you give me a follow on any platform, on Twitch, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, I'll follow you back. And I had to unfollow somebody because they were posting subjective shit, and they look young. And I was like, holy shit, what's up with that, right? And at first it was only one post, but then probably she had liked for it, and because she has liked, she kept posting. And then and she looked really young, so made me uncomfortable. And then she posted a story that she was like description, and then she said, "Oh, I'm 16." I was like, dude, you're basically posting half naked for the attention and the love of people that you don't even know, that are taking advantage of you and you don't even know, right? But again, it's a lack. Is it a lack? Is it a lack of the school system, or is it lack of the parents? And I can't tell, because with the church, I mean, even if when you go to Sunday, right? There's certain. Again, I'm talking about my experience. There's a saying that's being said. There's a couple of chapters. There's a teaching that we're going to focus on. But basically, if you're teaching the Bible and the parents show the Bible, you know what's being taught. Most of us, I'm not a parent, but I'm going to include myself in, just to be more fair, just to be more transparent, don't even know what's being taught. Right? The whole pronouns war is, I think, the whole pronoun one is super simple when you think about it. I was talking about religion. I said you should be able to believe in whatever the fuck you want and however you want. Then there's whole pronoun words. You should be able to use whatever the fuck pronouns you want to use, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. And I don't know about you guys, but teaching a kid about the pronouns when the kid doesn't even understand the way the world works, it's pretty confusing. It's pretty. When I was a kid, right, I wanted to catch Pokemon as a job. When I was a kid, I wanted to be Super Saiyan. And I said it's not the same, but it just shows you, and I'm not saying the same, but it showcases the fact that you're so underdeveloped, you're a kid. You should be able to be a kid, right? Even this, look at this, this is, to me, this is beautiful. Abandoned building. You all around me, sickening the air I'm breathing. And then this song, Flyleaf, about religion. And you're singing it and you're like, okay, this is a rock and roll song. And what the fuck she's talking about? But then she's talking about God and how he's all around her and how he kept her alive and how she feels him everywhere she goes. She feels him, and yeah, she's breathing. She feels them touching her, and she feels in his presence. She feels safe. She feels alive, and I think it's beautiful. But going back to the school system, right? Then the government and the religion is one thing, because then again you, in some cases, you indoctrinate children or you condition them into believing that a God or a church or the teaching of a church are the only way in and only way out. And by having this only way in and only way out, you cannot go. It's like a square. They always say, oh, you're taking outside the box. You're taking inside the box. That's what they mean. That's what they mean. They mean that. They mean that the box is the Bible itself. I'm talking about the Bible because, again, my parents were raised like that. My mom is harder because my mom, she followed two systems. She followed the school system a bit in Egypt, and she followed the school system a bit here. So it's very different, you know. My father was raised by fathers and sisters, right? And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the fact that there's only like box, and if you went out of it, you would get physically reprimanded. And it was weird because the school system, right? The school system was omnipresent. For example, right? A kid misbehaved, and I would have gotten it. There's like rulers, like wooden rulers, and they hit the kids on the fingers. And if you're complaining about church, you don't want to complain about church. You don't want to be ostracized, or it's not good. It's not good, bro. I can feel the room me seconding the air I'm breathing. And the government is it's not better because you're being told to. I think the school system itself is flawed, very flawed. But then again, you couldn't change it because when I was younger, when I was in grade 7, right? Something came up, something called the reform came up, and it was a different way of teaching students. And you were being told, actively speaking, that the grade in grade 7 didn't matter. You couldn't restart it. And you guys know me, I had a hard time following a 2-hour rule for bike, and you were asking me to study for a year, telling me there's no consequences if I didn't. I didn't. And then in grade 8, you had to understand what it was. And if you had good grades in grade 8, it would let you pass. Right? So they call grade 7 the, whatchamacallit? They called it the, whatchamacallit? It was called the adaptation period. And because I failed, right, they would give me a class, which is mise à niveau secondaire 2, which is not daily update, but like briefing of grade 7 and 8. But it would be like a class per weeks. What am I supposed to learn? You know? But I didn't listen, and when I was into grade 8, I was behind. So, for example, if I'm teaching you that the color blue and yellow give greens, that's great. But if you don't understand the core of what's blue and what's yellow, you know it gives green, but you don't know how to get the green. Like, fuck. Now, the governmental system is teaching a lot of things. They want to be inclusive, so they're gonna introduce, like, for example, there's people. They're gonna have sexual education. And other people that are gonna have I have friends from different schools that were taught Spanish. Right? And then you wondered, why didn't I have those courses? And again, you think, I don't want to be a dick. I don't want to be a dick, but I was in a school of, I wasn't a school of, a public high school. But it was a French school. So you want to teach us Spanish, which again, amazing language, but the core language of Canada is French and English. You want to teach us Spanish when most of the kids don't speak English. Like, teach us English because we're getting to speak English, right? The reason why I didn't speak English. I started speaking English. I was 17 years old. 31. So, but I didn't want to learn English because I didn't have to. I was being served in French. My family, my father, my mom was speaking English, was speaking French. The school I was going to was speaking French. The first ever job I had was speaking French. Okay, I don't care about English. And then my mom was like, no, you need to learn. And she sent me to an English camp, which was the best thing she's ever did. So I learned English, right? I know this story before, but, and again, I feel like the school system is a bit to blame. There was not a want to learn, but if they push the fact that, listen, you're gonna need to learn English. People say, oh, what you learn in class doesn't matter. To a certain degree, it doesn't. But I'm using math every single day. Now, again, math was a subject that I liked. So maybe that's why I retain more information. Maybe if I paid more attention in other classes, maybe those things that I would have learned would have served in a day-to-day basis. But I didn't. And the school system, my issue with the school system is, like, it's not a good system in Canada. It's not a good system at all. You have 20 to 30 students, no, more than that. And more than 30 students per class, right? You're conditioning them to learn the same thing, but it's the same book, sure. But there's a couple of different ways of teaching. And then again, you kind of do like a school system, you kind of do like a teaching You can't do that for every single student, right? And that's understandable. That is, I'm not asking that, but understanding that there's different way to teach it for different kids means, okay, well, if I do understand that, what am I supposed to do, right? And I feel like the school system is a bit of a failure here. But again, a lot of the parents are not doing them good, because it's like, oh, I don't need to teach my kids because my kid is learning stuff in school. But you don't know what she is learning in school. And with the school, the greatest lesson you're gonna have, and it's necessarily in class. It's always. You can say, oh, my kid is doing pretty good. When it comes to my kid is doing pretty well when it comes to book. When it comes to everything else, my kid is fucking lacking. See, I feel like, and there's different ways to teach a kid. I was lucky because I both had amazing parents, but my father was more of a tough love kind of teacher. My mom was more of an enabler, where she let me do anything anything I want, and beautiful. I wish you guys could see more. It's not a great spot to see the sun, but yeah. Long story short, my mom was like, and I think in the end, I think they both had value and what they were trying to sell. Like, I'm gonna do like a other full video for that. But there is a balanced system in society where when you're lacking, the world will put shit in your way. If you're lacking in the love department, well, the world will put a amazing girl in your way. This amazing girl you're not gonna be able to get because you're not good enough in relationships. Because you're not good enough in relationship, you're gonna try to get better. But then she's gone. So, and if you're not tough enough, if you're not, for example, me. Yes, I got bullied, but I didn't pay attention to bullying. I was zoning out. Then I went to the last job that I had, and I was being bullied there. Because I was being bullied there, then I had a system of, okay, well, I'm being bullied there, so I have to be. I learned it the hard way that what I was doing was not okay. And it made me the person I am today, and I'm thankful for that job. I'm thankful for the bullying. As much as it sounds crazy, I am thankful for it because it was a lack in my life. And it made me a better person, made me a better, I would say better human, but I don't think that's the right answer. I don't think being a better human is something good. Because again, you'd have to define what's a good human. I don't think you can, and I don't think I can, right? And then the other problem with the school system was the lessons that were taught, and they always, well, it all depends on your environment. If you're lucky enough, you're surrounded by good people, and if you're not lucky enough, you're surrounded by bad people, right? And that sounds fucked up, right? But every single friendship that you're gonna have is gonna serve a certain purpose. And there's, for example, when you go to work, right? When you go to school, you understand that those people that you're working with every day. I was working with those people for 7 years in the very beginning. The mosquito. There was outings, right? They were going fishing or going to restaurants. It took a month for all of these people to separate. Most of them aren't talking to each other, right? And I find it sad. I find it deplorable because we did work. I was there for 6 years. Let's do 6.5, which is more 7. But some of those people, they were there for longer than I am. And it's weird. I was in the perfect middle. We were 11. There was Mihai, Raul, George, Nicolas. No, Mihai, Raul, Romika, George, Nicolas, me, number 6, and then you had number 6. It was me. You had Zeph, Shao, Hankel, Zeph, Max, Shao, Hankel, Maru, which is 11. I was 6 out of 11. See, there's a fucking mosquito. There you go, motherfucker. I don't like because I'm having this not allergic reaction to it, but I have almost this reaction to it. There's a car park on your right, on your left, my right, and I don't know what they're doing, but they're just standing there, and they're looking at me. But hey, here I am filming myself for you guys to see, and I'm being bothered by somebody. I'm bothered by somebody looking at me. No, see, it's all a question of understanding. And like I was saying, I'm thankful for that bullying because it made me more resilient. Now, I'm speaking about this, and I'm taking a break on social media for a couple of days because I'm getting a lot of negativity on my videos. But then you look at my numbers, and they've never been better. I'm looking at the subscriber, and it's constantly increasing. And that's a positive thing. That's a really positive thing. But then again, I'm like, shit. Not so much about the fact that negativity is affecting me. I'm putting in like 9 to 10 hours a day, right? And not expecting results. I don't take it for granted. However, I'm blood in, blood out. And if the answer to blood in, blood out is negativity, but then nobody's asking me. Nobody's asking me to be blood in, blood out. Nobody's asking me to be making this amount of hours or number of videos I'm making per day. See? Nobody set this expectation except for me. I put myself in these expectations, and I'm like, oh yeah, but it doesn't. I don't like it. Well, tough luck. It's life. See, in a lot of ways, fucking ways, we're flawed, and I could blame the education system, but I have to blame myself. Now, for example, it's weird because you also think about if a kid, right, the only known violence, chances that they're going to produce violence is going to be high, very high. There's some country in the world where, for example, we're seeing the war in Palestine and Gaza, right? And you're seeing kids, and it's funny because I'm seeing this I'm seeing this meme a lot, which is Doflamingo from One Piece, and Doflamingo said, okay, well, I'm gonna make people experience war that way they understand. Oh, we shouldn't reproduce that. We should avoid war, right? And if you look at Naruto, you see pain. If you look at yeah, that's pretty much it. There's possibly more, but I don't know them. But Doflamingo was like, yo, I'm gonna make kids experience war. And then Tony did that, and there was they took some, I think it's American kids. It could have been from anywhere in the world, but if you ask them what they wanted Lamborghini, they wanted $1 million, they wanted wanted money, right? And when you look at other kids that were in those places that are currently facing war, or doesn't matter if it's one place, the other, and they were asking to see their brother, they were asking for bread, they were asking to see their mom. I said, I miss my brother, he's dead. And it just breaks your heart, you know? And those kids are gonna grow up with being fucked. Some of them are gonna be amazing human beings. Some of them are gonna be functioning human beings. Some of them are gonna understand that the world is a fucked up place, and they're gonna want to reproduce that. Right? But in a lot of wars, they're using children because they know the enemy won't shoot at children. Okay? And again, who do you blame? The school system? You blame religion? Corrupted system? I don't know. See, I was talking about how I'm fucking lucky that social media wasn't a thing that big when I was a kid. But I'm not even taking into consideration that it might have made my day better. Might have made my experience better. See? So for content creation, for the last job that I had, right? At first I was getting bullied. I was like, fuck it, I was getting bullied, right? And I said, fuck it, I'm gonna become this character online. And I become this character online, then I'm gonna be doing whatever the fuck I want, right? Online. I still had a shitty time in real life. But as long as I get to escape online, who gives a shit, right? But that wasn't it. I was obsessed with content creation. I'm still obsessed with content creation, but it's different. I was obsessed with content creation. I was obsessed with making videos. I was a step in and out of work, and everybody was in work, and I was like, holy shit, it's not fair. And when people were getting mad at that, they would say, dude, you don't understand. You don't understand that this is my dream, right? And it sucked. It was tough. It was tough. Because again, you cannot be mad at them for wanting you to be as involved as they are, right? But you're not. We had a discussion, me and my mom, on Sunday, where she wanted me to find work. She wanted me to change apartment. She wanted me to change work. She wanted to lose weight, which is fair enough. I wanted to lose weight too, but the apartment and the work thing is hard because, again, you're asking me to change. And for the apartment, she keeps on telling me, oh, change apartment. I'm not working. How do you want me to find another apartment? Doesn't make any sense. But she's worried. And my mom, you see that she constantly brings me food. She constantly brings me stuff. For example, I'm going to see her every 3 weeks. And every time she's coming, she brings a pair of shoes. What am I supposed to do with all those shoes? They bring a lot of clothes. And then what am I supposed to do with all those clothes, right? But she's like, she cares for me. She's afraid. She's worried, right? So it's crazy. It's absolutely insane because my mom, if you look at it from a different perspective, right? The fact that my mom, she's bringing me food, she's bringing me clothes. The fact that she's bringing me, like, she's worried about the. If you look at it from a certain perspective, my mom probably feel like I don't care enough. Because I don't care enough, then she's overcompensating by caring too much. See, my father is always my father, dude. My father, I love my father, but my father's always find a job, and my father wants me to work for Costco because he said, "Oh, it's easy, and you'll get some good salary, you get some good advantage." And he's right. He's wrong. He's not wrong. Costco's a good place to work at, and if you were to work at Costco, you'd be happy. However, this is not my dream, and my father, every single time I'm seeing him, oh, I haven't applied to Costco yet, bruh. And it's tough because it's a perception also. As them not understanding that I have a dream. You see, when I look at my parents, I both, and again, we're talking about the system, the education system, which was my education system, my first one, with my parents. And when you look at my parents, they were both hard workers. My father worked hard. He worked really hard. My mom, she never stopped working. She was one of the hardest workers I know. My father, my mom was willing to take the bus to go to work. Was willing to do like an hour every day to go to work. My father wouldn't. Because my father will say, oh, he's a hard worker. And it's true, it is true. He did work hard, but my father also took a lot of advantage from work. He had a lot of joy from work. There wasn't a lot in his life that brought him joy except for work. It was his escape, you know? To a certain degree, I understand that, but my father constantly pushed me to go and work, and both of them, they won't see the dream as a dream. They won't see this as something that is viable. My mom's a bit more open to it, though. My mom, she's a bit more open. She's like, oh, are you making money? Do you think you're going to be making money? She doubts it, but she's open to it. She's like, okay, well, I kind of understand that you want to do that. I kind of understand that it's possible, but are you sure that's what you want to do? And again, I'm blood in, blood out, you know? Like, it's a tough thing because we're putting so much time every single day. We're putting so much time. And it's every single day, right? But then again, you cannot ask for results, right? And I took a little break because I was getting comments like, oh, dude, I got a comment like, unalive yourself. And they were making fun of my content, and I was like, okay, well, that's a cool thing, but she just told me to unalive myself. You have serious issues. You cannot like my content, that's one thing, but telling somebody to off themselves is kind of fucked up. And I was getting somebody else said, hey, you're fucking cringe, and shit like that. And again, I understand that, and it sucks because I'm getting more views than I used to. I'm getting a lot more, and the weird thing with social media, social media. When I grow on social media, before you reach a certain point, nobody gives a shit, and then you reach a certain point, and there's not necessarily peer pressure, but there's pure element. Like for example, if you look at the most popular YouTuber, if you look at the most popular Instagram artists, influencer, sorry, Instagram artists, I don't think that exist. If you look at them, then you understand that holy shit, those people are massive. Those people have a massive following, and there's like a saying, when everybody follows the shepherd, everybody follows the shepherd. See, and it's weird because like a lot of those people are very popular and a lot famous, but they're not constantly being followed. For example, you're gonna see. I'll give an example of an artist that I really really like, which is More Critical. So you get millions of views, millions of subscribers, but most of them aren't unactive. If you look at and then you look at a horrible situation like Boogie2998, who's constantly hate viewing, hate baiting. He's doing content that will make people watch him because they know how much of a fuck up he is, and that's how he pays his bill. And I think that's sad. I mentioned this before with Nicocado Avocado, but Nicocado Avocado did the same thing. And both of them tried to, when they started, they had good intention. They wanted to do something good. They wanted to showcase something good, right? And then it ended up being a joke, being a fucking meme, and that's their fault. That's their fault because they pushed an ideal where they're like, okay, well, you guys want to hate, but I'm still gonna monetize the hate. I have such a problem. It's gonna be, again, if you're here for education, that's pretty much done. But I'm watching this guy, and you guys know that I'm watching DSP as not necessarily as 8 views, but not necessarily as love views. I don't like the guy, I don't hate the guy. I just find him super entertaining, to be honest. I just find him super entertaining, to be honest. And you look at that, you look at a couple of things, and you're like, okay, well, I'm feeling bad for him. He had an interview with Side Stroller where, and that's the weird how the world works. So Side Stroller is made by by people who were once super popular on social media, and they decided to do like they bring back a program because the reality is they're out of cash. And they were like, okay, well, I don't have the money for that. And they did a show, and that show is called Side Stroller. So one of the first guests that they have is fucking DSP, and DSP came in, and you can argue that DSP lied, DSP wasn't a good interview, he tried to trick them, but you knew he was gonna trick you. The difference is you knew he was gonna try to trick you. He didn't know that you were gonna try to trick him. He didn't know that. So who's an asshole here? I don't think it's him. I think it's you. I think you're the asshole. Because again, you said something, but you did something else. When I told this story before, but when you're a liar, people expect you to lie. I told this story about the scorpion with the frog. The scorpion wants to cross the lake, the ocean, and he asked the frog, "Can you bring me?" The frog said, "No, you're gonna sting me." And then the scorpion is like, "Are you stupid? If I sting you, we'll both drown." Then they go, and halfway to the lake, the scorpion sting the frog, and then the frog asks him, "Why did you sting me? We're both gonna die." And the scorpion said, "I'm a scorpion." So if you fail, you would expect him to lie. You would expect him to try to manipulate, right? But for those guys, they're an asshole. And my biggest issue wasn't how the interview was. It wasn't the result of the interview. That didn't bother me. What bothered me really is that they were such a fucking asshole. They were saying, "Oh, monetize the hate, monetize the hate." Every single dollar that I have in my pocket is a dollar DSP won't have in his pocket. And you're like, dude, I understand that the guy is an asshole, but you're being an asshole too. The person is being an asshole. With DSP, I feel like he has zero self-awareness. He's constantly crashing. Every single day is a car crash, and he's not learning. What can you can't blame him? He's like, it's simple about idiots. Those guys, they take advantage of the fact that it was a car crash and said, okay, well, we're also gonna be car crash, and it sucks. And I'm seeing that, and I feel bad. Like a lot of the people that are watching are like, okay, well, it's better if you succeed than if you fail, right? But with the side stroller, it was shitty. To a certain degree, I feel bad because this is what, like, when you look at this guy, when you look at, for example, again, DSP, did the there's this channel that I watch, WPig, right? And they watch the history, the lore of Phil, and it's beautiful and it's amazing. And if you look at it from a certain standpoint of view, then you're like, holy shit, I understand why he's like that. Doesn't excuse the fact, but you understand why he's like that. And I'm so tired, dude. I was sleeping before I did that, so that's why. Now the sun is blocking me. I'm gonna end this video here. We'll do another one. We'll go and see the sun from closer, and then we'll go back home. I'm not gonna be staying up a lot because again I'm tired and I have shit to do today. I'm not even supposed to film, but I was like, dude, you're not doing anything, so let's fucking go, right? Anywho. See, it's still a good thing that you see addiction, right? I'm talking about addiction and the fact that I can't stop making videos, even when I told myself I wouldn't make videos for a couple of days because I needed a break, right? That I cannot stop. It's great. It's fucking amazing. People are gonna see that and say, "Hey, this is an amazing. This is blood in, blood out. This is amazing work ethic." But again, you're not respecting what you said. You're not doing what's best for you. You're just doing what you feel like doing. And short term, that's great. But long term, is there going to be consequences? And when there's going to be consequences, you're going to be to blame. That's going to be me. There's no correct answer. There's no. Ugh. Look at this shit. Beautiful though. Whoa. We're very zoned in. And this camera is not great. I have to leave the good phone at home because it's uploading some of the tower videos, but it's almost done. I uploaded, still have 13 videos to upload. It's gonna be on a day-to-day basis, so with the new Wi-Fi, it's better. The new Wi-Fi is better. Not as good as I want it to be, but hey. You in my fingertips. So again, we're planning to go to work. Let's fucking go to work. And yeah, we'll come back. Love you guys. See you soon.